First of all, so this is 2436 Pines of Rome and Fountains of Rome. These two are the 2 tracks, and then the original 3-track was in this kind of metal box, and it's actually on the tape machine right here. So this is the original 3-track tape for that recording.
So you got, okay, the 3-track here.
Yeah. So they used to keep these note cards that would say when they did cuts and where they sent the different ones. So you see like 1S, 2S, 3S. That shows where those different cuts went.
So what me and Ryan noticed is it says fuses blew at 1957.
It's right there.
7, and you see the 1S Indianapolis, 2S Rockaway, and 3S Hollywood, and the 4S would be Canada. And they had to recut. Everybody knows, the collectors know, that the value of the 1S Pines of Rome is worth $1,000 plus because they recut it because the 1S was too hard to track. So now we understand why, and this is the original notes where it says fuses blew at 1957. That's probably the hardest place to track it, I would guess. And
yeah, it's probably the biggest crescendo at the end.
Yeah,
it would draw the most current.
Right, so that's really, really cool to see that after all those years of buying and selling the 1S.
Yeah. That's it right there. That's cymbal crash.
Cymbal crash.
That's cymbal crash. That's what tripped the breaker.
This is a pancake of the 2-channel.
Yeah, this is the 2-channel. So they would have taken that 3-channel tape, which was the original recording, edited from the different takes when they did the recording. They would have mixed it down to stereo onto this 1/4-inch 15 IPS tape, and this is the tape that would have cut all the original.
Do you see many edits in the 3-channel?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, totally.
No
Those
kidding.
guys they were fearless, man.
And then this is 2-channel.
Yeah, this is 2-channel.
I mean, no edits.
No, you won't see edits in the 2-channel because
Yeah.
they would have edited on the 3-track.
Yeah.
For the most part.
But we're fixing to make our own 2-channel.
Right.
Half-inch.
So we're making
30.
a new one of these, but it's gonna be 1/2-inch 30.
And that's a 1/4-inch
15.
So ours is 1/2-inch 30. That's 1/4-inch 15.
Yeah.
Okay. And new tape and fresh and new machines.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. There should be a whole host of things that make for the noise floor should be much quieter. Next up we have these. This is Scheherazade. Reiner.
3-channel. Right?
These are the 3 tracks. The original 3 tracks.
So, a
lot of these, depending on the era, there was a time like late 50s, AME, yeah, late 50s, early 60s, where they were using an AME equalization curve, which was almost kind of like an early attempt at noise reduction. But basically it boosted the high end on record, and then you would reduce it equally on playback so that you could bring the noise down some. So a lot of these were recorded with AME, and you can see right there on the box it says AME. So but that was something that was built into the old Ampex tape machines, the 3-track tape machines that they did this with, which our new tape machines don't have because no one has used AME since the 60s. Yeah. One of the techs here, got the spec for it and basically built the AME electronics right here. So when I come out of my tape machine, my 3 channels, they go into this box where the AME is basically decoded.
So Barry built that?
Yeah, Barry Wilson, our chief tech here, he built this. So yeah, I got my, I got 6 channels, 3 ins and 3 outs.
Thank you, Barry.
To make it, because otherwise, if you played it without that, it would sound exceedingly bright. So these are the 3 tracks for Scheherazade, and then these are the 2 tracks. These are again what they would have mixed down to, and what they would have cut the original.
Right,
quality checked for something
record.
Something record, and then the initials and the date.
Cool.
And a lot of times down here you can see like this is probably the approval from the producers or the engineers, like like it was signed off on when they did the mix, I assume.
That was good.
All right, now that we've gone through our tape boxes, you should hear some music.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to start. I've got a digital version of when I did this for the LP. Just a file on the computer, which I'm going to play and compare to, just to make sure that, you know, I've got my notes here. Similar to what those guys had. So these are my notes for mastering, which is actually pretty minimal. The main thing, the biggest thing was the to balance the center channel. Yeah. So let's do it for a minute. I'm just gonna compare it with this copy out of the computer, just to make sure that everything's coming back the way it should, and that the balances are right. And then, assuming that's good, then we're gonna press record on the other tape machines.
All right.
Well, actually, you want to hear this too. This is good. They put the slate. The original slate is on here from the. I'm not sure the producer or the engineer, but you can hear this.
A2RB 4703, take number 5.
He's gonna start making the masters of Pines of Rome.
Here we go. I'm Ryan Smith here at Sterling Sound, and we are getting ready to make some fresh analog tapes from 3-track masters from some of the old RCA Living Stereo series. The record I have up right now is 2150 Lieutenant Key backed with Stravinsky's Song of the Nightingale. These were the original tapes. These are these kind of unusual boxes that have been stored in, these metal boxes. I'll show you one of them. I can get it open without killing myself. So they actually have been stored just on pancake without flanges, which is a little bit nerve-wracking, but there it is, 1/2-inch tape. This is a 3-track, so it's recorded left, center, right. The orchestral recording at 15 IPS. This is the A side, which I've already done, and I got the B side up here on the machine, getting ready to run it down. So basically what we're doing is we're recreating what they would have done back in 1957 or late 50s, early 60s when they did these recordings. This is the tape that would have been recorded in the hall with the orchestra. It's an edited tape, so they would have done take and take and take. They would have chosen the takes they liked, edited them together to get a complete performance. Some tapes have a lot of edits in them on this series. Some have very few. It just kind of depended, I think, on how the playing went that day, and all those kind of factors. So this is the 3-track tape. So they thought of it in terms of left, center, and right. I'm lucky in my room here that I'm actually set up for analog surround, where I've got, so I can kind of think of this tape as like the LCR of a surround mix. And what I'm going to do then is down mix it so that the center channel gets blended into the stereo field along with the left and right channels to make a new analog stereo tape, and that's going to be recorded on these two machines over here, these two Studer A20s. So going back to what the RCA engineers would have done, they would have done exactly what I'm doing here, which is to mix this 3-track tape down to 2 tracks, except for they would have done it at 1/4 inch at 15 IPS, which would have been the standard for their cutting rooms back in those days. So we're going to do it instead at 30 IPS at 1/2 inch, which will significantly reduce the noise floor on these tapes. This is my main console that I use for normal stereo mastering. So this is, I've got control for the left channel and right channel, various EQ and compression options if needed. Over here, I have the ability, like I said, in surround to control the center channel, the rear speakers, and the subwoofer levels as well. So over here, I'm just going to use the center channel aspect of this, and then this center channel, after I set the level the way I like it, is going to mix back and combine in with the left and right channel, and then that feed is going to send over to the new 2-track tapes. So what I'm going to do now for a second is I'm going to play the tape. First I'm going to play like the first 30 seconds. It's already set up the way I want it, so you hear it, and then I'll play it again, and I'm going to take the different channels out so you can hear what was on the left, what was on the right, and what was in the center separately. So here's the beginning of this. Okay, so that's the full mix, so you're hearing all three tracks blended together. So now I'm going to start by I'm going to mute all these channels. I'll play each channel by itself, and then so you can hear it. So this is just the left channel. Just the right channel. And the left and right together, without the center. Go back a little bit. So you can hear the left and right sort of carry most of the action. They're getting, they're pretty much getting the entire orchestra. Let me play that again. Left and right together. Alright, so now let's go back to the top again. And I'm going to play you just the center so you can see what they were able to add in. So here's a lot of winds, a little bit of percussion, some of the brass. Not as much of the strings. Which makes sense when you think about an orchestra where you've got, the if I'm the conductor, the violins over here and the cellos and basses over here. And then, the woodwinds kind of up the middle. And I think, so they use that, at least for orchestral recordings without a soloist, they often use that center channel to try to fill in that middle of the hall that might have got lost, or at least maybe been a little bit pulled back a little bit in just a pure stereo recording. And then, so the challenge for me is to find that right level for the center channel. The left and right channels, they work as a stereo pair, as you could hear there. So the real trick here in mastering is to find that right level for the center channel. And to do that, I had access to original copies of the original LPs and just compared to those and tweaked that center channel level until I found what felt like the same balance that they got originally. Because the idea here is not to change these things; it's just to make them be heard in the best light possible. The last aspect of my job then also is to add an EQ if necessary. Most of these records needed either no EQ or just the slightest bit, and again I did that by comparing with the originals, and you can probably attribute that EQ to just different playback machines, different recording machines, different transfer consoles, age of the tape, just things that are different, so you're just contouring the EQ just slightly just to try to get it back to that original beautiful sound that they got on these great recordings.